All right, here we go, y'all. We are live. Hey, hey, everybody.
Night, mommy. Night, baby.
Hey,
Love you. Love you. Love you.
We live, as you know, it's our
Love you.
Thursday podcast, music podcast show. How y'all doing today?
Good.
today's been a beautiful day.
Today has been a wonderful day, but I gotta tell y'all, I don't know if it's age or what, but I'm just tired today. I'm just tired, but I'm happy to be here. But I'm just tired. Y'all ever just get a day where you just tired, you sleepy? I don't think I slept well, so that's all.
And then you know
Yeah.
it's been raining the last couple of days, so the rain will do it to you too.
Yeah, that's true. We got a little bit of rain down here. Not a whole lot, but it's all good. Need some vitamins, some caffeine, something.
Yeah,
Need to pick me up,
yeah.
man.
I've been enjoying today. It was it was a beautiful sunny day most of the day, and above all, today was payday. So
Oh
it's
Oh,
been a
yes,
great day.
okay.
that's a good day, shot.
That's
Yeah.
a great day.
What?
Right. Go on
Yes.
and go on and get these tickets. Go on and get them gas tickets.
Yes.
Beat that pump.
Oh yeah, I tell me about the raffle because I didn't know about that.
Oh, okay. Well, I
Did I
think I
miss
think
it?
I think Theo. No, you haven't missed it. I think Theo's gonna give us the
Oh,
the
okay.
whole spiel on it. Beat the pump
Yay.
raffle. I'm gonna get me like 100 tickets. I'm just saying.
Because baby, it just cost me $52 to fill up a Versa.
52.
It ain't
Try
no joke.
$52 to,
106. I drive a bus.
but
Okay.
I'm driving a Versa. It's a 10-gallon tank.
Girl, I got this suburban and I
I
just pull up.
expect the bus to cost $100.
Girl, I'm driving this suburban and I'm looking real crazy about now, but
I'm waiting
um
for that reel where you say, I just got back from someplace real expensive, the gas station.
Yeah, right. That's a vacation trip right now, man.
I'm
That's why we
telling
trying to
you.
help people beat that pump, man.
Mm, mm, mm.
Uh-oh.
I thought the other guy was coming on, but I guess he's not on yet either.
I just resent him the link.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, all right, all right. So look, man, we're gonna go ahead and get into this thing. If somebody else is joining in, man, we'll just catch them. I'll check for them in the back, and then we'll get them in when we get them in. We got a couple technical difficulties apparently on the video, so we're gonna wing this thing, man. We got a couple videos in, but a couple I really wanted to get to. I don't think we're gonna be able to do this evening, but I'm sure y'all know the content, so we'll get into it anyway. But yeah, sound like y'all was giving the introductions, man. The pleasantries to everybody. Everybody's doing all right today.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're hanging in there. Thank you. How you doing?
Hey man, I'm always great. As long as I wake up, that's all I'm that's what I'm all about.
Amen.
So with that being said, man, let's go ahead and kick into this intro and then we'll get into the introductions officially. All right.
All right.
There it is, man. Listen, I wanna welcome everybody to the Roundtable Talk podcast, man. Thursdays, 8 p.m. we go live where we bring it to you the current events, everything that's going on, in our little worlds that we feel like we want to talk about. Obviously, not everything, man. We can't get to everything with just one show, but definitely check back with us, man. We're always updating with fresh new content, trying to keep our ear to the people, see what they got going on, and bring it to you. So definitely, man, if you're tapping in with us, check us out on the Roundtable Music Facebook group. And also, you can catch us streaming live or on the recast on YouTube. So that's Where It Begins Magazine or I Model Booth Games. But before we begin, man, as we always do, let's go around the horn real quick. CC, let's get them a little word from the Queen.
What's up, everybody? As y'all know, it's your girl CC. I am happy to be here. I can't wait to hear these topics for today. And thanks for participating. Thanks for joining us today. And this is going to be real interesting. I can't wait.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm always excited to be here. Looks like we got somebody frozen up there. But we'll sort that out in a second. Mac, go ahead and speak to the people, man.
Yeah, man. They know what it is. Your boy MAC, co-founder of Brainstorm Productions, DUG Entertainment, and definitely not scared of grabbing these issues out the air, putting them down on the table and talk about them. So let's do that.
Hey man, we magicians. We just make it materialize and happen. So we're gonna do that same thing again today. But Shade Queen, I like the smiles you got on, man. Say some good words behind them smiles.
Hello, everybody. It's your girl from the heart of Georgia, Shade Queen Crawley. Listen, I am a little lethargic today, but I am extremely excited to come talk to you guys about the topics that affect us in entertainment and our communities. Back to you, Theo.
Hey man, I'm waiting on the weather report. You sound like you about to drop that next. So I think we lost the chick that hustles for a second. I'm sure she'll be back up. But my man Sinister just popped in the building, man. Sinister, what's good, man? We're giving the intros. Go ahead and give people your intro. Tell them about Sinister. You're on mute. We just looking at your face, man. That's it. Now you muted. I don't know. Let me get a chick that hustles back up there in the mix. Sinister have us. Yeah. Nah. I appreciate the effort. You look like you're yelling with it. Yeah, you might want to log off and log back on, man. But in the meantime, man, a chick that hustles. Let me.
I don't know if y'all can hear me.
Yeah, no, we can hear you. We can hear you. Oh, now we might have lost you. Listen, man, the technical difficulties are real this evening. Hey, but it's all good. But yeah, no, chick that hustles. We see you now. Go ahead and give them an intro. I don't think we got her either, man. We got some people that want to be here, man, but
you
it ain't.
There's a delay, so I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm just gonna go ahead and give my intro. What's up? It's Natifa, your girl, a chick that hustles, aka Chase Banks. Oh no. Happy to be here. I'm gonna change my location and see if that helps with my issues.
I feel it. So listen, man, while they work out those technical difficulties, man, let's just get into it verbally. The couple things I wanted to start out with, we have I think videos for them, so we'll get into those. But it's been a real crazy week around the world, man. It seems like social media it's been going crazy about a couple things in particular, man. We all got the devastating news, no matter what side you come down on with R. Kelly, man. You know, I mean, it's just devastating. It's devastating for the culture. It's devastating for us as a people, man. Not trying to justify, not trying to write anything at all, but, you know, seeing one of the icons go down, let me say it differently. Seeing another in a long list of our icons that go down, man, that's just, that's just a crazy look. So that's actually one of the videos we couldn't get loaded today. But I definitely want to dive into it, man. So 30 years for R. Kelly, man. The charges was all over the place. They got him for trafficking. They got him for racketeering. I mean, they got him for everything, man. The DA was asking for, I think, 25. It was initially 10. They bumped it up to 25. The mandatory minimum on it was 10. But the judge threw 30 at it, man. So I just wanted to check in with y'all, man. How y'all feeling about it? And when you heard that news, kind of, what did you think? Okay, nobody wants to touch this one.
Well, I'll say this. He is the king of R&B, and no matter how you slice it, his artistry is what it is. I mean, I'm still stepping in the name of love because I like the music. Now, to his personal life, I think that this case got a lot of press. So the DA really had to make sure that they crossed all their T's, dotted all their I's. But I do think it's excessive. And I think that that's something that is just our justice system, unfortunately. And they want to make examples of people, particularly people of color, regardless of how much money you have. And how do you really put, to me, how do you put time on certain types of crimes? So until we really revamp the justice system, which unfortunately in our lifetime of the people who are on this podcast, we're probably still going to see more of that, where they just throw a bunch of years at someone and leave them to rot. When we know for a fact that there are people who don't look like us who can actually kill a whole person. Again, I am not trying to take away from the sex crimes because I take those very seriously. So please don't misunderstand the message. But I just think that the time and the crime is not equal for everyone, and that's unfortunate. So
let me ask this. So you said they crossed all the T's, they dotted all the I's. It's easy to think that, right? When it comes across, just because it's done, right? Like we all assume that our legal system did their due diligence.
oh no,
Um,
I'm not saying that. What I'm
yeah,
saying is they were able to pull up enough of what they needed to do what they were going to do. That's
okay.
what I mean. They were able to pad the file and stack up other things because when this originally started, it was about sex with underage young ladies. But then, like you said, it was added racketeering, it was added sex trafficking, which are
Mhm,
hot items, and they're
mhm.
trying to make examples of people. So that's what I mean is that they were intentional on we're gonna get them this time. That's what I
Yeah.
meant.
Yeah, no, and they definitely got them. Let me say this though, it was still about the sex. At the end of the day, I don't think that factor really changed. But when you get into racketeering charges, man, when you get into sex trafficking charges, that's usually reserved for different type of situations. So I think it's really interesting that that's what he actually got charged for in New York. And let's point that out specifically because he still has ongoing legal charges. I think in Chicago that he's going to have to deal with as well, and the president's has already been kind of set for him with this one. And matter of fact, let me back that up a little bit further. How do you guys think the surviving R. Kelly impacted this whole thing? Go ahead, and
A
check the
whole
Because
lot.
hustles. Okay,
okay,
go ahead, Sims.
because
Go ahead.
I saw the surviving R. Kelly. I think that has a major impact on how that case went in terms of the political pressure they put on that. But my whole take on this is why wait till now? If you're gonna hold, if this is a racketeering situation, that means there was other people that helped out in this situation. Usually a racketeering situation is not limited to one person. If he goes down, make sure other people go down. Because if we're talking about the main thing was he was having sex with underage girls and sex trafficking. Majority of them females, parents helped R. Kelly in that sexual situation. We're talking about since the Aaliyah days. I've heard he been doing this since the early. It was in '94 when I first heard got wind of R. Kelly doing stuff with minors with Aaliyah, a superstar, and no legal situation came out of that. So this mess been going on for over 30 years. My whole thing on it is why now?
Because of money. I'm gonna get you in a second to check that hustles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, no. So you're right. Racketeering is reserved when other people help. There were handlers, there were managers that were pointed out that did help make this happen. But yeah, you also brought a good point. The parents kind of cooperated. I don't know if they were coerced. I don't know what that situation looked like. But in a lot of cases, these young ladies were being dropped off at the shows, dropped off at the airport with full knowledge of the parents knowing where they were going. So, and again, the trafficking is because, of course, you're dropping them off at the airport or they're getting on the tour bus and they're crossing state lines. So I get why they felt like they can stretch it to that, but you got to admit this was a little bit of a stretch to put those type of things on it. But let me get you in here, chick that hustles. What's your thoughts?
well, so I want to say two things. First, this whole idea of even allowing a show like Surviving R. Kelly, which I did not watch, to be produced and released while a trial was pending, just
Seem
I,
purposeful.
it's not just purposeful, but the goal is to taint the jury pool, right? If millions of people have watched this, good chance that the people who are in your jury pool have watched it, and they already have in their mind what they're going to do, and that's the complete opposite of what a jury is supposed to do. So the fact that they would even allow something like that, and shame on his attorneys for not putting a stop to it. That show should have never been allowed to be released, and not
They did
at least
try.
not until after
They tried.
the trial. Did they?
Yes, they
They
did.
did.
Okay, I didn't
They
know.
did. They filed motions.
So, and then I also want to say, just a transparent moment. I was a rambunctious, super wild teenager, and from the beginning, since this case started, always felt like there was a good chance, and this was in the beginning, I thought there was a good chance that maybe he didn't necessarily know the age of the girls that he was dealing with outside of Aaliyah, right? Which was always painted as he married her so that they could do the things that they were doing musically without having to worry about paperwork and da 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 da. That's the way I heard it when I was younger growing up. So that made sense to me, right? But then the other girls were like, oh, they were in the club and he met them. And well, how did they get in the club? Now I remember me at 16 years old going to the gate on Columbia Drive in Atlanta, knowing that you had to be 18 years old to get in. I lied. And a lot of young girls are guilty of doing the same thing. And so I was always empathetic up until recently, where I started hearing more information about a lot of these girls being girls that actually worked with him. They just weren't random occurrences. So I'm torn in this situation. Like, I do believe that he should suffer some consequences, but I think 30 years is extreme, especially considering that he has another case pending.
Yeah.
His best hope is that the judge in that case doesn't sentence him to consecutive terms, and that they can run concurrently, and maybe he'll get out early or something like that. But like you, Shade Queen, I will still be stepping in the name of love. Boo.
Yeah, I do want to say this though, and I want to be very clear. I am an advocate for those who are victims of this type of things. I do not think anything that he did was fine. I do not think that he was innocent. So I just, so I don't want anybody to come in and be like, oh, they riding for him. No, I think this is just an example of he really needed help. Like Sin said, this has been going on for about 30 years. Like Theo said, some parents were aware, all parents were not. Some girls did lie, but I have been a young teenager who had older men hitting on me, and I just thought older men had worms. So I was lucky that I didn't get caught into that. But watching the documentary, it triggered me. It was hard to watch. It triggered me certainly because I kept thinking that could have been me as a young girl, thinking that I was going to be able, because you remember I used to try and sing, someone trying to say they're going to mentor me, and I could have been trying to, get somewhere and someone take advantage of me. Luckily, my parents didn't allow that to happen to me. But shame on those parents, and my prayers are still with the victims.
But you brought up a good point though, right? Like, you could have easily been in this situation, but your parents didn't necessarily allow it. So why weren't the parents brought up on any charges for this? Why has there been no negative stigmas associated with the parents who actually, again, the ones that allowed it, we understand that all weren't consensual in that way, but the ones who certainly seem to be consensual and actually providing efforts, why aren't they part of the trafficking racketeering?
Because we don't have enough people or enough court systems or enough time to prosecute all the parents in the world who are guilty of this.
But we have enough time to prosecute these parents if we have enough time to prosecute.
I see what you're saying, but that would open the floodgate of a lot of people who might even be watching right now, and that's not our business. But I'm just saying there are a lot of parents who just are not doing what they're supposed to do with their kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Ahead, let me ask this. We're talking about R. Kelly. They're talking about this whole sex trafficking thing like this just happened like last year, this and that. Why wasn't this type of talk happening when the sex tape came out?
Well, it did, but they couldn't.
Why didn't nobody say nothing when he had that interview? I think it was on 2020. I forgot. BT Tavis Smiley, when they asked him, when Tavis Smiley had that sit down with him, and it was like, "Are you guilty of this?" And he just sat there like he kept dancing around the question. There was no craziness going on. And also, I just heard Shade, you just said something. Both of y'all was like, "I'm still gonna step in the name of love." If he wasn't that good of a singer, will we be more disgusted? Is his talent kind of giving him a kind of that's kind of disgusting, but not too disgusting of a crime that he did?
No.
Because I still see people saying, like, I'm still gonna listen to his music. That man, they're just basically saying he's a pedophile. You mean to tell me people can still listen to his most sexual songs, make babies to his music, and he's a pedophile?
Well, I'm saying that's a very good point. And if that were the case, a lot of artists we wouldn't be listening to. We would have a very
there's a whole bunch of them. R. Kelly just got caught.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would be
R. Kelly is just black.
Yeah. Not only that though,
Yeah,
he's not just black. It was the type of crime, but you have murderers that we're listening to. You have all kinds of unscrupulous people that we listen to. So my point is, I'm not to the point where I'm going to, and Sin, I know you can still, hopefully you can still hear me. I'm not going to sit up here and every time he comes on, turn off the radio. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm not gonna lie. If it's, I'm just not. I'm gonna groove, but I'm not gonna go out of my way and go put on an R. Kelly t-shirt and be like, free my homie. No, but I'm not going to say that I'm going to cancel his music, as so many people have tried to do, because it's not realistic for me. Some people say.
And I think that's a big point of this whole thing, and I'll get to it in a second. But Mac, let me get you in here. You look like you had something to provide to it.
Oh man, you already know. So I mean, first of all, we talking about a dude that in '94 married Aaliyah at 15 when he was
15.
In '96, sued for emotional distress by Tiffany Hawkins after a 3-year relationship that started when she was 15. 2002, Patrice Jones, he got her impregnated and forced her to get her abortion. Also in 2002, Motina Woods sued R. Kelly for videotaping them having sex without her knowledge. And that was the tape that was sold as R. Kelly XXX. 2002, charged with 21 counts of making child sexual videos. 2002 to 2004, arrested when the police found 12 counts of producing child sexual abuse images when they seized his camera. 2017, they saying the dude had a sexual cult when he had 6 women that approached him about trying to advance their musical career. And he was like, yeah, I can help you, but I'm going to tell you how to eat, how to dress, when to bathe, when to sleep, and engage in sexual encounters while he's recording. Now, I get it. Listen, man, the defense asked for 10 years or less. The prosecution was going for 25 or more years, right? The judge even said when she was considering R. Kelly's sentence that she took into account his childhood, which he was sexually abused as a child repeatedly by a family member and the landlord, but still gave him those 30 years. Now, when we talking about the charges, we got racketeering, right? So for the people that don't know, you know, that's dishonest and fraudulent business dealings. Okay, and then sex trafficking, which is a tree because it's different branches off of that tree. Sex trafficking can go in a whole different direction depending on where you at with it.
Make it plain. Make it plain.
So what he got hit with was 8 counts of violating the Mann Act. The Mann Act is another word used for the White Slave Traffic Act that was instituted in 1910. So now people might be like, yo, what is white slavery? We talking about the White Slave Traffic Act. What is white slavery? Rooted in fears of women, growing mobility, and racism, characterizations of the sexual appetites of non-white men.
So Let me just interrupt for a quick second, man. The Mann Act was introduced to stop interracial marriages. That's actually why it was originally introduced. It precluded black men from taking white women in any shape, form, or fashion. So, meaning if I take you on a date, or if, and they were trying to cut down the stem from leading to marriage. If I take you on a date, that could be considered I'm taking you hostage. So just because you're a white woman and I'm a black man, then I'm holding you against your will, is what it assumed. But go ahead, Matt.
Oh no, that's it, man. Y'all take from there, man.
That's so you just ran down really kind of what Sin was saying, was that it started back then, and each year or in 2-year increments, it just kept, from my understanding, I didn't really think that he was getting hemmed up until around about 2010, when he kept putting the case off because they kept saying he was on tour, and so he was able to push this investigation off for a long time, and he had a lot of legal help, Sin, to push back. So these cases started, but I didn't do my research like you, Mac. Thank you for breaking that down. That's a long history, and that's a lot of stuff.
And when
No
you hear
problem.
it in order like that, right? Like I've heard of these different charges kind of at random times, but when you hear it laid out like that, it's almost devastating, because it really paints a picture of someone who is predatorial. And I got in trouble, I'm gonna lay low for a little while, but I'm back. Then I get in trouble and I lay low for a little while, but I'm back. It's a little bit scary.
But the problem is that all those people that were around him, where are they? I was disgusted when I watched that show and the documentary. I was disgusted that there were so many people, because of the statute of limitations, they felt like they were free from any kind of harm. And they were like, oh yeah, I used to see it and I used to be there. And I'm thinking, you're just as guilty. You a pedophile too. If you see some girl that you know she's young and you're still letting that go on, you're just as guilty. You just didn't get caught.
Yep. And so let me bring up two points. First, CC, I want to get you involved, so I'm gonna throw you in a question in a second. But overall, man, do you guys think that the money had any play in this? And I say that because R. Kelly, the reason why you can't stop stepping in the name of love is because obviously the guy was a musical genius, right? He put out hits for himself, he put out hits for others, and that catalog is so extensive and has hits for Celine Dion. It has hits that have been in movies. He basically wrote some of the soundtrack to a lot of our lives. But real quick before we get to that, I want to ask you, CC, did you know? Did you see Surviving R. Kelly? And also, did you know that there were male accusers in this as well?
I didn't watch it. I mean, being on social media, you see the clips and you see different things that people say, but I did not watch it. But I did hear that, yeah, it was male people that was in the situation.
I did not know that at all.
I did, yeah. And I don't believe that they actually showcased that in the documentary.
I didn't see the documentary, so I'm just asking. But the question was, like, did we know that there were some male accusers? Apparently, there was a couple. I know at least one stuck at the time. By the time the end of this whole thing, he was a 17-year-old at the time. So
yeah. I definitely watched it, and I knew about the males. Man.
Okay.
Let me ask this. I think that money is the number one motivating factor for the victims' families coming at R. Kelly. Remember Sparkle? She was the cousin of the girl that brought the sex tape forward. When her and R. Kelly got into a falling out, all of a sudden, a sex tape came out of nowhere. I think that's everybody's motivation to try to bring him down. He promised them a big dream of them being famous, and he left them hanging. So now let's show them what he was doing with our children, even though we gave him permission to do all this. But he promised us, because one thing I've seen parents be cool with adults with their minor children as long as they're rich.
Yep. As long as they're,
I've seen that worldwide.
And
I
it
didn't
was
say it was right,
reports,
but that's what I've seen.
Yeah, it was reports he was providing financial compensation to some of the families as well. So money has been a play,
Yeah.
it seems like, since day one. But in particular, I think, like I said, not excusing what he did, man. You got to be smarter than that, and I don't mean smarter to out scheme the system. I just mean for your life. Like you literally have so much on the line, it's not worth it. And a regular person that doesn't have all that shouldn't be
Right.
doing it. So you got to have common sense when it comes to certain things on how you move. And at the end of the day, man, it's going to be hard for us as a culture to continue to take up for him because it just is too many facts that's come out that just discusses everybody at this point. So I wish him the best, man. Nobody wants to see again another one of our icons fall. Nobody wants to see a genius spend time in jail for the rest of their lives. But it unfortunately that looks like where R. Kelly is heading, and it sounds like it's deserve it in a lot of ways. So
I just want to add
I
this
got a
one
quick
last thing
question
too.
before we get off too.
hold on, CC, go ahead, the chick that hustles.
I was just gonna say, to me also, it seems that there was a culture of men sleeping or a practice of men in the music industry sleeping with younger women because after this case came out, I started hearing songs like the BBD song, like Keith Sweat, um, and just hearing lyrics and songs and realizing, wait, this may be something that everybody was doing. And maybe he is just finally being the person they used to set an example. But now that this Me Too movement has come out, you start looking at a lot of things differently and wondering why it was allowed to go along for so long. But it didn't just start with him. I just want to say that.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
get you in. I'm gonna get you in the second, CC. But I'm glad you brought that up. Right, the
Well,
Me Too,
I'm
the
sorry.
Me Too movement is actually claiming this as their biggest victory so far. So if you don't think there was political pressure behind it and reasons to get this thing escalated up and throw the book at him, so to speak, then that's what it was. I'll get you in the second shade, Queen. But go ahead, CC.
No, I was going to say the same thing. I'll like just to go back because Aaliyah's not here. Aaliyah had what? Damon Dash, Jay Z when she was young. She had all those rappers at a young age. Even when he started dating Beyonce, she was underage. They 10 years apart. They didn't really come to the media until she actually was able to be 18. But he was dating
Mm-hmm.
her before that and messing with her, and they 10 years apart. So
Wait,
Mm-hmm.
I
I
thought that
mean,
he started messing with her when she was in her 20s.
You talking about Jay-Z and
I
Beyonce?
don't think
Yeah.
Beyonce was lying about her age for a long time. So I think that's why people think she was so much older. She had
and
like
they 10
4
years.
21st birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I've had several 39s, so
Mm-hmm.
it's not my business, but I digress.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of young girls in that industry mess with a whole lot of older men.
Mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
you
Look at some of the current examples, right? Like you just got to make sure they cross the 18 line. But when I look at situations like Diddy and some of the people he's been dating
know,
lately, like there's decades difference in those. But also let me point this out, man. And we're gonna move off the topic unless somebody has some final questions or comments on it. But I'll say this, man. There's been a culture in the music industry in Hollywood of all types of sexual predations that have been rumored and going on, and in some cases true. There's a lot of powerful men, and I'm saying men. I'm calling the men out. It's a lot of powerful men that have been there and have been asking men and women to do different things to advance their careers. So at the end of the day, I honestly think that R. Kelly got caught up in the situation of thinking that he could do no wrong, right? He had the blessing of the parents in a lot of cases. It was already a culture around him that, that type of activity was going on with younger women and honestly a lot of cases the males making the younger boys to do something just to get into the industry. And then you take it back to his childhood where he was abused and sexually abused. So in a lot of senses, I feel very sorry for him because it seems like it was so rampant in his life that he was probably just, he felt emboldened to be able to do that and like he could get away with it because he's seen it so many times. And that's and that's one of the reasons why we have to take, you know, mental illness and mental health a lot more serious, man. People are suffering from different things, and you never know how it's going to play out. Everybody doesn't make it to the highest of highs that R. Kelly does, so that they affect so many people on a level. But there are a lot of people who are probably doing things individually that are kind of ruining some lives, that we'll never get a chance to talk about, and that justice will never get served. So my heart goes out to him. My heart goes out to the victims. My heart goes out to the families. A lot of guilt, though, needs to be shared all around if we can't get actual full justice out of the system.
I
So
agree. Fair
I'm,
enough.
I agree.
I'm
And
gonna
then I
leave it
just
at
think
that.
that the people around us, the people that are around him, they needed, they didn't even give him help.
Hold him
You know,
accountable or anything.
They
right,
helped him the wrong way.
Yes,
They
they
helped him the
did.
right,
wrong way.
Because he
right.
was he
All the
was
wrong
patting
way.
their pockets, but
Right,
I'm
right.
tired of talking about him.
That's the king of
Um,
Chicago.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
King of R&B. Hey, real quick, man. Let's take a couple comments. We kind of overdue because we got into some heavy lifting early, but let's see. Nika Mac said, good seeing you all live again. Hey man, welcome back to the
Hey, hey,
country,
hey.
Nika.
Hey,
It's
Nika.
good you checking in with us. Also, Doris Fox said, hey baby.
Hey,
Hey mama.
Mama.
Hey.
Hey mama. Love you, mama.
She's my
But yeah,
mama too. Mama, you adopted me too. Just so you know, I'm coming over.
so that was R. Kelly, man. That was some of the part of the bombshell that I was saying kind of, dropped this week. And the internet is starting to go crazy about that one. But let's get into something that the internet has been going a little crazy over, man. Let me see if I can get to the content here. So we're gonna take this into verses, man. Anybody get a chance to catch verses?
I never watched the whole thing in any of them because they're always late and they take too long. But I saw enough to know that I didn't need to see the whole thing.
Hey man, let's get into a little video review of what kind of went down in the verses. Oh, that took me all the way back out. Let's get back into this thing. All right, check it out, and we're gonna stop periodically. We'll break this thing down, but let's go.
Started late. It started super late. In fact, they had a whole 2-hour pre-show, and the comedian D. Ray Davis hosted it, and Sammy, Bobby Valentino, Ray J, and Pleasure P performed. And it was kind of chaotic when they performed. The sound wasn't all the way great. The vocals were a little ashy, okay? I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't super impressed with the vocals. I would say the only one that stood out to me in the pre-show was Sammy. I think Sammy had great stage presence, and in my opinion,
Hey, I'm gonna stop it right there for a quick second, man. Listen, shout out to Sammy, man. Did y'all know Sammy still
Underrated.
had the pipes like that?
I follow him on IG. He is underrated. Okay, that's my boy.
Okay. Because well, let's go ahead and let's go ahead and air out the elephant in the room first and foremost, man. I've heard a lot of talks blaming it on the mics, blaming it on the sound checks not going well, blaming it on whoever was actually, producing the
Come on, let's
audio,
go.
not monitoring it closely. I heard a whole lot of excuses. But what did y'all think about the vocals, man? Outside of
Come on,
Sammy,
vocal.
because Sammy did his thing. I'm talking about the pre-show, right? I'm talking about the 2 hour pre-show that went down.
As a vocal coach, I do know that sometimes if you can't hear, that does that does make a difference. But they
Hmm.
were singing, quite frankly, like they never could hear, and so they couldn't use that. It's not, you know, they got exposed. A lot
Hmm.
of artists today, and I'd say for the past 15 years, have been able to get away with the great thing called technology in the studio. And
Hmm.
um, you know, they saw people like when this started out during the pandemic, we had the greats like Babyface and Teddy Riley, and other people, and they thought that they could do the same thing. What they could have and should have done is just play their records. But no, they wanted to come out and perform. And
Hmm.
baby, when I tell you, some of them were sounding till my baby's born, till my baby's born.
Oh yeah. No, hold on to that. We're gonna get to my baby boy real quick. Let's take a couple comments. uh, Doris Fault said, "I love all y'all. We love you too. We love you too." Also, Facebook user said, "LMAO, that the watermelon though." Hey man, we gonna get to the watermelon. We gonna get to it. Hey, real quick though, that brings us to this point, man. Go to streamyard.com/Facebook if you want your comments, to show your name and your little profile pic, man. We want to shout you out. So not sure who the Facebook user is, but yeah, that we're gonna talk about that watermelon. We're gonna talk about it. Real quick though, let's dive back into this video and see what she's putting down on this thing.
He had the best voice out of the four. Ray J, on the other hand, had the worst voice, and he was giving struggle on top of struggle. Now, I do have to give props to Brandy because she was sitting back there listening to them struggle vocals and filming him like somebody's proud mama. She was really showing him that sisterly support, but I wish she went up on that stage and snatched the mic out of Ray J's hand because he was sounding terrible. But even though Ray J had the worst vocals in the pre-show, he still managed to steal the show because one thing about Ray J is he's going to bring the drama, the chaos, and the entertainment.
To my baby's born, to my baby's born, to my baby's born. One wish, one wish, one wish. One wish, one wish, one wish. Fellas,
It's been number one
y'all
forever.
look, I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I've been having fun with y'all niggas, but y'all all been interrupting my songs, singing the songs, getting in, singing the harmonies. I start again, a cappella to try to serenade Princess, and y'all go, one wish again, like damn. Like just let me get one off.
The ungratefulness. Damn.
All y'all been talking about is one wish. One wish, one wish, one. All through the promo,
Let him
everything.
get his
Y'all
song
can't get
off.
enough of one wish.
Let Ray
we
J
love
get
One
his
Wish, but
song
Yeah, damn.
off.
All y'all niggas just mad because y'all don't own y'all hits.
That's what I,
I own all
said.
my shit.
Ray J, that's what I said.
So as you can see, this whole thing was a mess. Ray J was super salty because they outsang him on his own song. But I still enjoyed the pre-show because it was funny to me. There were some entertaining moments, so I wasn't mad at it. I just wish it didn't go on so long because really
So let's get back into this thing, man. Listen, Ray J was on fire. Ray J was the angriest black man with a child laying on his shoulder that I have ever seen.
He
Uh,
said, "Get off of one wish." Y'all won't let me sing.
Hey, but if you watch the verses though, they took over One Wish. I'm not mad at them for doing that,
They
but
did
they did take over One Wish. Go ahead, Sinister.
Okay, let me say this. I'm an 80s baby. I grew up on soul music, funk, like Cameo, Jeffrey Osborne, who's from my hometown. We can name people, Temptations, Michael Jackson, even the Keith Sweats, the R. Kelly. This was supposed to be a historical night for the younger generation of our black people when it comes to R&B. Don't play with R&B. We take R&B, the old school crowd, we take our music serious because majority of all them icons in music come from the church. Most good singers come from the church, including them ones in the verses. Basically, my point was that was a disgrace. That was not even, to me, it wasn't funny. They looked a hot mess. You had Ron Isley watching. You had Patti LaBelle watching. You had Keith Sweat, 112, all them people watching, and these fools are up there sounding like that. I recall you sound like that within 3 seconds at the Apollo. I've been to the Apollo. You get off the stage. We ain't got time to laugh at you. We came to get entertained. Get out of here. If we want to laugh at you, we watch comedians. You're not supposed to get up there and he ate a watermelon. A watermelon. Who's in their bedroom eating watermelon?
Hey, hold on to that watermelon, man. We're gonna get y'all
If you
thoughts on that part.
If you eat watermelons while you're in an intimate act, during an intimate act, you do other weird stuff.
Sin, hold on
All
to
the
that.
fruits, and you choose a big ass watermelon to cut and do something freaky with.
To everyone.
All right, I'm gonna have to mute you. I had to mute you out, saying you ruined it, man. You cutting a promo during the middle of another section, bro. We can't hear you. Go ahead, Shade.
For all of you who are watching, if you do engage in watermelon eating, we are not judging you. We just want to let you know that is his thoughts alone, but don't do it in public.
Oh, you're wrong. You're wrong as well. Hey, let's take a couple comments real quick, man. Random TV said, "Till my baby's born." Listen, man, his baby was born with a struggle. it was born with a struggle, if if that's how he wants to put it. And he kept saying it. It was the angriest bad voice I've ever heard in my life. It was angry.
It
It
was
was just
out of order.
it was just angry.
It was wrong.
You
Listen,
know what?
Nika agrees. She said Ray J was horrible. Go ahead and check the hustles.
I was just gonna say I agree with Sin. I feel like this was proof of how watered down R&B has really gotten. And it's funny because Sammy actually, I told you I follow him on IG. A couple days after the show, he wrote a post. I don't know if he sent it to the Shade Room or whatever, but he was like, "It's funny to me seeing people roast some of these singers because the real ones know who can't sing, and we send group text messages to each other, laughing and talking shit. Excuse me, about the people who really can't sing. And so many studio singers who have made it huge in this industry, and so the real singers you're lucky if you get one. I was watching. Are we going to talk about BET? Because I don't want to get ahead of myself.
We're gonna get into that if we got time. So let me say this. For me personally, this exposed the difference between the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and then the 2000s, where the quote unquote real singers, and I'm not saying they're not real singers that were in the 2000s or even till today, but the formula is different, right? There's a lot of enhancement. Let's just say they're going under the knife, right? And then there's a lot of body doubles, and we'll get to that in a second once we get to the second half of this clip. Sin, you had something else to throw on there?
Aside from that, they vindicated me because I never did like them dudes anyways, man. They could call me a hater or anything, and I'm speaking for myself. I thought all them songs was whack, and they finally proved it. So everybody who said I was a hater, the old school always rules. We won't be listening to them. My grandbabies will not be listening to that garbage. I'll point that out. Like, that's when stuff got it. That was the downhill in the black society when they let goofy stuff like that slide. That's why we had to watch BET Uncut, because them goofy dudes. Mario was only good one. And Mario's a real street dude. Yeah, all right, mute it. Go mute me because I'm telling the truth. Say what you want. I'm telling the truth. If anybody disagree, oh well, go play them. Play their verses. I'll play some verses. Throw the Earth, Wind, and Fire verses. That wasn't nothing to roast. They didn't roast Luda and Nelly, and they were in their basement. These fools got on a stage in front of a bunch of girls. I know all the females was all happy. Look how they disappointed all y'all. The girls were really mad. Us dudes, we been knew they were cornballs. But Ray J, I think Ray J would have got the swinging if he wasn't holding his son. That's why he was looking. People think Ray J was looking at them mad. No, Ray J is like, I want to fight, man, but I'm holding my son. That's why he brought his son. He was like using his son as an explanation. He wanted to swing on them. Remember, Ray J wanted to fight Fabulous. You don't think he would fought Sammy, Bobby V, and all them? He's a dude that's in the city here too. So I know they know me. So hey, I speak my tongue. I speak what I speak. It was whack. If you all see this, it's whack. That's what we need to tell the truth about people. The joint was whack. If it was Apollo, y'all would have been booed. Sandman would have got there. There's something in the ATL called the shit show where they throw stuff at you when you whack. That's what we need. I bet you the Grammys would be better. Anything be better if they brought back the tomatoes. Because just throwing regular stuff won't say nothing. You go out that stage with fruits and tomatoes instead of eating watermelons. Yeah, you needed a tomato. That's what needed to be eaten, tomatoes.
Okay, I'm gonna have to cut you off at watermelon. Cut you off at watermelon.
I speak the truth.
Hey man, we love your passion, Sid. We love your passion. Couple quick comments.
Don't associate passion with them goofy niggas, man. Yeah,
listen,
they ain't passion, man. I just feel vindicated. The dudes was whack. Who's the worst versus them doofy dudes? Mario, you cool with me. I never played Rage.
All right, so Random TV said TikTok is having a blast, including myself. We having a good time with it too. We're gonna come right back to you in a second, Sid. And Doris Fox said, dang, tell us how you really feel. Listen, man, that man does not hide his emotions. He has no sleeves. He can't put his heart on his sleeve. He pour that thing out in the street. So, but no, I agree with everything that Sid just said, man. But I do argue with this one point. I personally think that the drama was extra thick this version because of the fact that they were actually trying to cover up the singing. I think people tune in and they love drama, and I think they made it almost a little bit of a reality show to the point where we're talking about that more than the singing. But the singing throughout it was garbage. It was
think you're
hot
right.
garbage.
That's true. I think you're right. I think that that's exactly what it was. It was like, ooh, don't pay attention to the man behind the green curtain.
Why do you think?
It was
Yeah, why?
the thing, the smoke screen. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think they had an undercard and the undercard took like 3 days?
Oh well.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I agree. Everything. Go ahead.
They need to go back to the old style when it first started, where artists were just playing the songs that they
That's what
already
I'm
produced.
saying.
Some
Play
of y'all
the
ain't got it
song.
no more. Accept it and move on.
Yeah, well, not only that though. I just think that we wanted to kind of reminisce in the song. Only unless you're a good singer and sound like yourself should you do that. Like Gladys Knight and Patty. You know, Patty and them, they was up there looking like they were in their living room singing it to their songs. They didn't go all out. They didn't have fanfare and smoke and dancers. It's like, this is not a concert. So I just think they took the essence of what it started to be, started as, and they're trying to make it something that it's not, and it clearly didn't work.
Expanding their brand and watering it down.
Yeah,
at the
it just
same
didn't.
time.
It didn't.
Yep,
This one didn't work.
exactly, man. People getting exposed out there. Some of your favorite singers, when you jam it to them tunes, you finding out they ain't really got that thing live, man. You got so much
show tracks,
manufacturing of the voice going on. And then you got some of the older heads that you gonna tune in because of the name, but they washed up at this point, man. They passed their prime.
Yes.
And they probably used to come blow, but not no more.
Jodeci and them, they can't blow, but they can, you know what I'm saying? Like they still sound better, all cracked out and everything than those boys. So they can't blow, but they still got a little bit in them.
Listen, Paige Dorley says, hey, what's up, Paige? Thank you for checking in. She said this was one of the most popular ones because of the drama. Yeah. And also Facebook users said they tried hard for no reason. Listen, they tried to make it a concert. I agree with you guys. They could have did this sitting in the studio and just play the tracks and nod their head. That's not what they wanted to do. These guys are known, all of them, if you really think about it, right? All of them, not only did they have to sing during the era when they were actually popular, they had to dance. So they kind of fell back on the dance element and the show element for it, and they thought that was what was going to really propel it there. But my point in saying that is, life is a popularity contest. If you don't notice, I keep introducing that reoccurring theme. Good or bad, Ray J streams just went up. Sammy's streams just went up. Bobby V streams just went up. So at the end of the day, we're talking about them. So people are buying their brand, quote unquote. Maybe not directly, but you are providing some monetary compensation just by their streams going up for saying their name. Yeah, not.
Let me, go
ahead.
You heard what Max said? Did you hear what Max said, that they're past their prime? He said these dudes are past their prime. Then shame on them at their age being past their prime when we watch Ron Isley at 80, still sound sharp.
Yes.
Patti LaBelle in their that's considered an age past 50, and they're in their 60s, sounding on point. Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, they're in their 50s. Kane was up there rocking and jamming. Shame on them.
All them drugs.
And they can't say it's drugs, this and that, man. Them Rolling Stones been on every drug and they still up there jamming. Sounded correct. When you got it, you got it. They wasted their talent. God said, give it back, man.
But to those,
they want to be reality superstars. Yeah, they're popular. There's a time limit to being popular. You got to still have that gift. That gift is what makes a fan. Popularity don't make fans. It just brings eyes. We ain't going to be talking about them next year. If you bring it up, we're going to get mad if you bring that mess up. We just bring it up now and this and that. But if we go back to it, ain't we going to be mad if I be like, hey, remember Sammy? Like, what? No.
Yeah, vocalists, take care of your voices. Drugs and
Yeah,
overuse of your voices is terrible for it.
Facebook user said they were on IG Live talking about making a group, actually. And I'm going to be honest, Facebook user, I need you to go to streamyard.com/Facebook and put your information in there. And my second piece of honesty is that group would sell. They have names. That group would have some interest and it would sell.
Yeah,
Let me
But
say something. Some people gonna buy
and
tickets just
please
to
let
look
me
at
know
them.
who bought it
That
so I
little,
could roast them to kingdom come.
What? Y'all really think that somebody would go buy something for
yes.
them?
Exactly. See, you think that's crazy. Yeah, I want to know who's crazy. So that's
Just
crazy.
based off name basis, man.
Hey,
Name sell tickets.
but listen, man, that was just the appetizer. It was a rather long, lengthy,
Oh man, you
at
got
times unnecessary appetizer, but it was the appetizer. Let's dive into the main course, man. Everybody really came there to see Mario and Omarion. So let's dig into a little clip about that.
Damn.
Got
Yikes.
washed by Mario. It just wasn't even fair. It really wasn't fair. First of all, Mario started off the versus battle very petty. He actually brought out fake B2K members and they did the Omarion dance challenge, and I thought that was hilarious. And I think Mario did that not only to be funny, but to kind of throw a little shade, because Omarion purposely left out his members from B2K. He did not bring them on stage. He brought everybody else out, but he didn't bring out B2K. And I thought that was very telling. I do know that Omarion is not on good terms with B2K because I think there was a lot of drama behind the scenes during their first Millennium Tour. Also, one of the group members.
Let me stop it right there for a quick second. Do you guys think it would have made a difference had B2K been there? Because clearly Omarion brought out like everybody that was ever featured on any of his songs that he could access. But do you think it would have made a difference for him?
No, I'm glad them babies stayed home. They didn't need all that negative press. If I was them, I'd be like, dang, I'm glad I stayed home. Glad I'm staying home. I'm glad. I know they're glad they stayed home. No, they didn't.
They had the best seat in the house, and they get left out of the roasting session.
Yes, they were.
I don't know that they get left out.
Maybe not, but if we put this thing together collectively, then any press is good press.
No, I'm sorry. If you start sleeping with my baby mama, or in my case, baby daddy, we can't work together no more.
I agree.
Yeah,
I
right,
agree.
right. That was they man. I'll never take them serious if they get cool again. Like,
Let's take a couple comments and then
crazy.
we're gonna dive into that real quick though. Quintarius Turner said, "Okay, I'm back, but yeah, they were talking about turning it into a show and all." Hey, Quintarius, man, appreciate you for popping that in the stream, y'all. So we shout you out. I can only assume that was you, repping for us heavy back there. So appreciate you for checking in.
Hey, boo.
Paige Doyley said no, and I think she was responding to that last question. Would it make a difference if B2K would have been in the building? Let's dive back into this thing, man. And we're gonna get to this in a second, because I want to touch on this, man. I think it's very interesting because I think it would have made a difference of how we would have viewed it. But it's very inside to that argument. So hold on, we'll come back to it.
Lil Fizz started messing with Omarion's baby mama April, so that of course made Omarion cut ties with them completely. So he didn't invite them to the second Millennium Tour, and he didn't invite them to the Versus stage, and Mario brought attention to that, which did make Omarion a little uncomfortable. Also, Omarion spoke on Mario not being invited to the second Millennium Tour, and Mario said that he basically upstaged Omarion in the first one. So there was a lot of awkward moments, and I could tell that there was some unresolved tension between the two of them. This advantage, his vocals stole the show, and he made sure to show off his vocals after every single song. And I will say at some points, he was kind of dragging it out a little bit. I was like, okay, Mario, we get it. You can sing. But he was serenading the crowd, and he came with the sole purpose to take over and dominate. And that's exactly what he did.
Be careful when you fucking with a nigga like me, baby. That's what they came for. That's what they came for. 'Cause I'll take you some places that you never, ever, ever seen.
Now, I will give Omarion his props for trying to hold.
Hold on real quick. Listen, man. Did y'all know Mario could still blow like that?
Yes, he was on Empire. Remember he
Man,
was
I
on
didn't
Empire.
know. Woo!
I didn't watch Empire.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so he
that's a
was
dope.
like, yeah,
That's
they
a
had
dope
him as
show,
like
man.
one of the artists in
Okay.
the show. Yeah, he can sing. Oh, he's always been able to sing. I knew that.
Okay.
You see the difference? Do you see the difference of what y'all saying compared to what y'all said to
Exactly.
that other
Yeah.
goofy dudes? Mario
Right.
wasn't whack. Mario was good. He was amazing. The lady said he dragged it out. No, he wasn't. He did what they came to see. If the crowd's cheering, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she was right though. I think the consensus from the internet is that Omarion got dragged. He definitely got dragged.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
got dragged. He did. Bless his sweet
That
soul.
was a
But I
beat.
still like him.
Poor little tink tink.
I love him
Yeah,
still.
Mario's
Well, he did what he
underrated.
came to do.
No, we agree, man.
Omarion is
Mario.
a dancer. He's not a singer. He's a dancer.
He is,
Take
and
the
he's
dance.
He proved he's the
I
best
think-
of that generation.
Hey,
He
let's
proved he was the best of that generation.
let's
What he always did.
let's wrap
Hey, you know?
let's wrap this video up, and then we got a couple points to touch on. The watermelon, and you're saying that he proved he's the best of that generation. But going to Omarion, it's some allegations that he wasn't actually singing his stuff. So we're gonna get to that part here in a second.
His own. I do think Omarion had great stage presence. I loved a lot of his dance breaks, and I really enjoyed his performance of Icebox. That was one of the highlights for me because Icebox is one of my favorite songs from him. So there were some moments that I appreciated from Omarion, but Omarion's voice is just not strong. It's not strong at all, and it was painfully obvious. And he tried to make up for what he lacked by dancing and taking off his shirt and eating watermelon on stage. And this part was really cringy. I don't know why Omarion thought that would be the thing to do on stage, but he was eating watermelon with his brother, and Black Twitter was.
Oh, I think we just ran out of video. Let's just take that down anyway, man, because that was getting ridiculous. The watermelon, man. Why did the watermelon come out, and why you eating the watermelon with your brother? And then why do you give it to maybe a potential future victim for in the front row? Because that seemed like harassment to have to watch it.
What you say, CC?
He was showing y'all men how to eat the box. That's what
Right,
it is.
right. We all know
With a
that.
watermelon? With a watermelon.
Stop. First of all, if for anyone watching, if you think that that's the way that you're supposed to, how would you say, CC, eat the box? You are sadly mistaken. Also, to the young lady in the front who took that COVID-friendly fruit, I was not pleased. It was out of order. I was not pleased. This was ridiculous.
But
it was an embarrassment.
He wanted to show y'all how he could get messy and how he could get the juices flowing. You know, that's how I took it. Like, hey, he gonna show him
That's
work.
easy to do with a piece of watermelon.
No, baby,
it ain't real.
Not with no watermelon. You took us back. What are you talking about? You could have said a mango,
a peach,
an orange, a peach.
He wanted to show y'all
But he chose watermelon.
He wanted to make sure
Which
y'all
is,
know how much of a real
fruit.
really
So
is.
I didn't think about that. I didn't think
him and his brother thought of that. Probably him and his brother came up with that.
I'm sure. So listen, are y'all trying to say not only did he set R&B back, but he set black people back by his actions?
Yes. Who gets
He set the light skinned niggas back, and we was already there.
Look at what I'm doing, boss. He did watermelon.
Listen, Paige said it was not sexy at all. It wasn't for me to judge, but I probably agree. And then Quinteria said he humped a mic stand. What do we really think he could do? Listen, man, we thought we thought he could give us a show, and at the end of the day, he gave us the best version of that show that I think he could. And he opened up an entire hailstorm against his name. So the whole thing with the beef with him and B2K not bringing him out, the Millennium Tour, obviously they weren't invited to the second Millennium Tour. Also, Mario wasn't invited to the second Millennium Tour under allegations that or rumors, excuse me, that he got upstaged, that he upstaged Omarion with his singing, which I can fully believe because he did it again that night. In fact, he upstaged the whole building again, except for Sammy. Respect to Sammy, who, by the way, why does Sammy look like he's one of the members of the Yin Yang Twins? When did that happen? I missed that.
Yeah, he did.
When he
look a
grew
little
up,
scruffy.
because we know
Yeah.
him when he was 12.
Yeah, respect to
had
Sammy,
great-
man.
Hi,
Respect to him,
Sammy.
man. Everybody can rock their own look. I just, I was taken aback a little bit. I was like, bro got the extra thick beard. I like it. I just wasn't expecting that from Lil Sammy. But he said he ain't.
throwing that beard off.
Yeah, he ain't little Sammy no more, right? Right. He big Sammy, so respect to Sammy. But yeah, man. So the feud and the beef, man, he didn't want to bring out B2K. And so Mario brought them out. I think that part was staged. You don't, what I mean? Like, what the dances are, especially those same dancers danced with Omarion at certain times. So I think that was a little bit of staging, poking fun at himself. Because again, all press is good press when it really comes down to it at the end of the day. But he opened up again that full hailstorm afterwards by his actions. So you have members of B2K who are going on record and saying, and forgive me, guys, it was in another video clip that didn't load. The lead singer for Troop, who was already rumored to have sung on a lot of people's records during that time, that actually a lot of the vocals that came out during that time from Omarion were a mix of his vocals along with Omarion's, because Omarion couldn't pull the weight. So that's the new thing that's buzzing around Black Twitter right now.
That I hope
I could believe it. I could believe it
Yeah,
fully.
they were going back and forth on Twitter, on Instagram. They were going back and forth, and they were saying all that stuff on there.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, in all fairness, he is not the only one, and that's all races of music. I've heard that rumor with a lot of artists. So hopefully they don't blow Omarion up, because that means they're gonna point the fingers at other people too.
Yep.
Simone, if he's gonna go down for that, might as well let other people go down for that.
Yeah. And I can especially.
Well, let me chill.
No. You're right about them. You're right about it's some deep Milli Vanilli comparisons, man. But I was gonna just say, saying that I can believe that today Omarion can hold it down a little bit better, as we just all kind of reference. They can beef it up, right? Digitally, they can do some things to improve the audio. But back then, 20 years ago or so, they were doing a lot of mixing in other people's vocals to make those hits.
Now, did y'all hear him on The Masked Singer? Because he was on that show. Don't know if anybody else watched it. And I didn't know
I
who
remember.
he was. I didn't know who he was until the end. There were some times that I thought he sounded like Justin Bieber. So I will say that he can hold a note in his defense. Okay. But I don't think that he did very well with the sound system. I do think that there might have been a small sound issue, and he was doing a lot of moving around. So he's not a strong singer, but I will give him credit that on The Masked Singer, he did well. And I think that he made it to like the top 3. So he's not a bad singer. He's just not a great singer.
You also realize on The Masked Singer,
average person. He's better than the average person, but Mario showed the different levels. He made him look not that good. If there was no other acts and Omarion put a performance like that, maybe people at a show was like, he did good. He was okay. His movements was good. But Mario standing there coming with everything, checking like he had an A+ performance in all areas. And another thing the other singers was bringing up, they said they felt them dudes weren't prepared. Like, they called it out. All the main legends, they said, man, they were like, they didn't prepare good. In other words, they know what's up. Yeah. These dudes thought they were going to go in there playing around, and they paid for it.
They didn't take it seriously.
That is true. They didn't take it as seriously as they should have. Absolutely. I believe that. Yes.
I believe that.
They underestimated Versus is popular.
Yeah, it is.
What I was gonna say though, you do have to realize the Masked Singer and all these different shows. that's a lot of pre-recorded material. It may actually be him. So I'm not saying somebody else is singing in those cases, but a lot of times they're not singing live. Because you don't want, the goal of TV is to deliver the best product that's possible, right? So a
I
lot of the
heard of
cases,
that.
I don't think people realize that a lot of these shows, they're not singing live. They're singing to them. They're singing to something that's pre-recorded, which is them.
Okay.
And there's the chance for those enhancements to go into it. In fact, there's so many live enhancements they can do today that is ridiculous as well.
I do believe they have some live enhancements, but some of those
Theo,
people were actually singing live because when they would take their
Mhm.
little hats off and they would have to sing, they were singing. That was them
quick,
singing at
quick,
that point.
quick thing, Theo. It's funny you say that. 3 weeks ago, I just read somewhere. It was Lauryn Hill basically saying they had a major argument. Her and the Fugees had a major argument with Soul Train because they wanted to record live on Soul Train. And they said, no, that's too expensive to perform live. The key word. That's why they would force everybody. If you watch Soul Train, it seemed like everybody was lip syncing that could perform good live. But they said Fugees fought to go say stuff live. So I believe what you're saying is true. It's crazy you just mentioned that.
Yeah, no, it's not anything new to the industry. That's been going on since the 70s, to my understanding. But I'm not in the industry, so it's speculation until somebody that's there and done it comes forward and really says it. But but it's been reported numerous times. Quinteria said it's believable. Referring back to somebody else singing the excuse me. Again, the name escapes me, but the leader of Troop singing in on his vocals, I think, is what he was responding to. He also said Sammy would have had a better chance, but still would have lost bad. Sammy doesn't have the catalog. That would have been a
That's the
problem with
problem
with
Sammy.
Sammy. Yeah, yeah, and honestly, a lot of them. If you look at it, Marion had the most extensive catalog out of all of it. You hear a lot of reports that one of the reasons why he lost, of course, was because of his voice, the public perception of his voice, but also because he had to dumb down his catalog. I don't know if it was a legal situation or otherwise, but you notice a lot of the B2K material was not used. He used a lot of Amarion stuff, which some of us are not as familiar with, myself included.
He would have had to pay those guys if he used their music too, huh?
Well, in some form or fashion, yeah, yeah. So,
Who's to say
I
he didn't reach out and that was the beef right there? Could he sing some of their songs in his verses off that? And they blocked that.
well, yeah, we don't know that specific part, but based on how they all
Yeah, I'm
reacted
just
to
saying
each
that's a
other,
theory.
yeah, on social media afterwards, I don't think they came to the table and really was talking dollars and cents. But hey, man, real quick, let's go into our last topic. Now, we don't have a video clip for this, and I'm gonna rely on you guys because I didn't really dive into it as deeply on my own because it's just not really my flavor, man. I don't apologize for that. I used to apologize for not being the biggest fan of BET, but especially since they were bought out, especially some of the things that have happened and the change in the culture over there at that particular network. I'm not the biggest fan, but I don't want to hate on it. That's the only thing we got with black on the name. That's for real, for real. But the BET Awards went down over the past week as well, man. So I want to get some of y'all feedback from you guys that actually tuned into it. What did you think about it, man? I kind of heard some of the performances had some of the same issues we're talking about right now, sound wise. And then obviously they went into a very highly inclusive, I'm gonna say it that way, of trying to embrace different cultures during Pride Month. That they wanted to try to tackle and represent as well. So that had kind of mixed reviews out there from the public, from what I could see on the internet. So for you guys that actually watched it and tuned in to the BET Awards, what did you think, man? What was some of the highlights?
Oh, can I? Oh,
Go ahead,
you
and
go.
check that, hustles. Go ahead.
okay. So I'm with you, Theo. I have not watched the BET Awards as an entire show since it got bought out because to me it's contradictory. Like they have a picture floating around of the new owners and they super pale. So for that reason, I just feel I don't watch I don't watch the network at all, but I will occasionally catch the highlights.
Okay.
And because Diddy was honored, and it's crazy that this is coming up right after we just finished talking about their verses because number one, I blame Diddy for where R&B and hip hop are now. And let me explain why. as I was watching his tribute, I realized Diddy only had one artist on his entire label that could actually sing, and barely, and that's Faith. Everybody else is a studio singer, and you could tell Biggie was writing for everyone, like his entire label. What are they called? The people that's on everybody's just fake. And that is where R&B and hip hop are now. Everybody's fake. They vocals are fake. They ain't writing their own songs. So I blame all of that on Diddy, and the BET Awards just highlighted that for me. That was the first thing I realized. And then what happened to Lil' Kim? Why? I don't know if y'all saw her, but
my girl,
baby,
she
devastating.
She has gone under a lot of knives.
How do you stuff yourself that much and still think, like, at what point do you start reversing? Let me just say, body dysmorphia is real.
It
As
is
someone
real.
who has just recently lost a tremendous amount of weight, I finally understand how you can look in the mirror and not see what everybody else sees. I get it. But ain't nobody around her to stop her. Ain't nobody to tell her that don't look right, don't do no more.
Not in the circles that she's running in. No, not in that culture.
She just, you answered. You answered. Because I had a real clear answer to that. There's a real definite answer to why Little Kim looks like that. They did a documentary with her peoples that grew up with a junior mafia, and they said they're sitting there in pain watching her do this to herself. They're like, who is she around that's making her do that? We used to have, back in the day, we used to have a poster of Little Kim. Remember her album cover? And she was like everybody's hip hop crush. Like Little Kim was crowned a queen bee, and she could rap. I don't know who is in her ear, because everybody had Little Kim as the face of hip hop beauty. You know, it was Mary J. Blige was the queen of hip hop, but then that female that you associated with, that bad female chick of hip hop, it was Little Kim, and she could rap. But we kept noticing, like, she's looking different. She's not looking the same. Like, something's not right. Year after year after year. And it is what it is. It is.
I'm looking at a picture of her, man. She's doing the most. She's doing the most.
It was very weird.
And then when she came out, the sound that was just a disaster.
Wrong. Yeah,
she couldn't even start at the right place.
Yeah.
Diddy had to help her get to where the music actually was. She literally had 30 seconds of doing that crazy dance that she does in her Oompa Loompa shaped body, and then it was over.
Hey, let me real quick before you get into that shake. Hold on, Sam. Hold on, Sam. Did anybody? Because again, I didn't watch it, so I just watch what people react. Did anybody feel any type of way with that? What was it? The Go Poppy sign that was being held up there during Diddy's speech. Go ahead, speak on that, Sam.
I watched it and I'm looking at her like, damn, in front of a whole national audience, you looking like a damn fool. Like, Go Poppy, he don't care about you.
Tell him what we're talking about.
Crowd. What do he care about you?
Tell him what we're talking about. Who are we talking about?
Well,
you said the Go Poppy Diddy, right?
Yeah, who was holding the sign?
She claims she's Diddy's boo, but he went on IG, was like, you just my side chick.
Oh wow. And this was who did this?
Young whatever her name is, like
Young Miami.
He clowned her in front of everybody and did it for a second time. So I'm like, she don't know she's making a fool out of herself.
I have several feelings about it. So I'll let everybody else talk, and I'll just wrap mine up at the end. Yeah.
Okay, let me just. I saw the BET Awards. I saw it, and let me say this. Lotto did good. Let me say that. Lotto did good. She brought Mariah out. Mariah did good. So let me say that. Lotto did good. But overall, it was whack. It was whack. Go watch the whole thing and prove me wrong. That's all I asked for. You see the highlights. It was whack. I love awards. I've been watching the award show since Michael did the moonwalk. If it's one of my favorite things to watch, is to watch award shows. This was whack. This year been whack on BET. So you think the award show's gonna be good? One thing about award shows, they always give it to somebody who don't deserve the award. So
payola.
I like to
It's
watch
called
and see
payola.
who don't supposed to get it. You ever notice the top people never go? The year when they at their most top, they be like, we're gonna accept this for such and such, because they know the foolery. They know they're trying to suck up to them. Yo, man, them award shows is real funny.
Hey,
And
man,
so to put together that whack show, to put all that money, it was whack. Did you see what people were wearing? Did you see how they were singing? Look at who are the top people. This game is not about talent. It's not about who looks good, because 95%, black is beautiful. Half of that crowd is ugly, and they can say what they want. I know how to roast folk. There's nobody desirable looking. Ain't nobody there. People putting on their posters. I promise you that.
2, 1.
Like, you could die. We could be here for 10 hours and dissect what's wrong with that. Yeah, all right. Hey, see, y'all holding back. Y'all holding back. I'm saying what needs to be said. We need our black folks to step up. Our black folks need to step up. These are supposed to be the black and fabulous. They're supposed to be the fabulous looking people, the people we look at, people that are role models. Our kids watch these people, and it's whack.
Hey,
all across the board. I don't care about your orientation. I don't care about that. These people got to go. Hey.
Sin. Let me take a quick comment real quick. So Quintarius said, do y'all think Giveon really had a mic malfunction, or was that his voice? Listen, man, he went all in on the actions, looking like he was trying to blame it on the mic. What do you guys think about that?
It was his voice. Moving on. He sounded.
I don't think it was his voice. I think it was the mic.
No, ma'am.
If it was his voice, I would have done the same shit too in front of all them people screwing up like that. Hell yeah,
he ended up coming back and he ended up getting on the beat and he ended up sounding real good. You know what I'm saying? So I think it was the mic. Because if that's the case, it would have been like that the whole time.
Or maybe the audio feed into him, because that's been a major complaint this week as well. Everybody seems like they had bad audio. I just know it was a bad look. Again, some of the things that I mentioned were some of the clips that I got a chance to catch on the internet, and they was just it's all inflammatory, man. We only put the stuff out there that's a bad look for people. We have Young Miami holding the sign up saying "Go Poppy," and then in the speech, Diddy's still giving props to Kim, giving props to the exes, and she wasn't on that list, but you're all right. Diddy has probably I'm not gonna say procreated. He's practiced procreation with half of the crowd that was there. And I said that specifically like that for a reason. And then you had Giveon, who you guys, matter of fact, this group put me on to Giveon. I wasn't a fan, and I'm not saying I'm all in on him, but I respect him, and to hear him perform that way was a little disheartening. And he looked a little extra with his theatrics of facially blaming the mic.
But
yeah, that's an amateur.
He probably got nervous. You ever think he got nervous? You got the whole world watching, everybody you grew up on in front of you, and maybe his nerves got the best of him. Because I've heard some of his stuff. He's not a bad singer. Like we're saying, his voice, he's not bad, but it was at that point.
Well,
it was that at that point.
No, I've never heard him live except for this time, and I do think that he did okay. He was able to try and get it back, which he should have kept going. That's one of the things that you learn as a performer is the show must go on, and you're not supposed to show it the way that he did. I thought that was kind of an amateur move, but I do want to talk about the show in its totality, and that I thought that when they started talking about, and I forgot that they had sold it, so yeah, that was kind of a sellout move. I digress, but they were saying that they were doing things for the culture. And
the catwalk.
I am, quite frankly, I always watch the show because I feel like I should support, and I do like some of the artists that are on there, but some of the shows in the past, it bothers me because I'm wondering, is this what we really want to say is our culture?
That's what's representing our culture.
And which culture are they referring to?
And here is my point. So when I specifically am talking about culture, and I hope I'm not offending anyone because I'm not trying to, but when I heard that term, before they had Billy Porter come out, which I think he is fabulous. Like I would invite him over, and we would get dressed up and do our thing, right? But they said we want to embrace all of our Black culture. And then he came out and was like, tens across the board. And I was like, it was very entertaining. However, I was, and then there were the women on there popping their butts and the men talking about, the thug stuff and all that. And I'm like,
But to be clear, you're not talking all of that about Billy Porter's segment.
I know, I'm talking about
'Cause
the whole
there
show.
were no women popping their
There were
butts
no, not in
during
that
that
segment. No,
segment.
those were, they
Those
were
were
women.
not women.
They were
Just
trans
to be
women.
clear,
They were, is that correct?
They were trans women.
Is that the correct terminology? I'm not trying to be funny.
Don't ask me.
Okay, so but they were not so they were not cis women. They were. I'm getting off rail. Okay, so back to what I'm trying to say.
Point is, they were not born women.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not on that totally. What I'm trying to say is that was a part of it. Let's move from that, right? But they were saying they were trying to show all of our community, but they only were showing certain portions of our community because we have in our community doctors and lawyers and what about the people who are holding us down during COVID? Let's give a appreciation award for that. What about our nurses? What about the
They
teachers?
used to do that.
What about the Black male teachers, which
They
I've
used to,
never had
yes.
in my life? I've never had in my life, but they're not doing that now. Now they're saying, but they're packaging it as this is a night for us, and I didn't see me. And maybe I'm not Black enough. Maybe my Black card is gone. But I just felt like I didn't feel that feeling of this is us. I felt like this was the entertainment us. And so maybe that's not what the show is about anymore. Maybe it's just me. But I'm just wondering, anybody who's watching that could pop in the comments, do you feel that the BET award show is a true representation of us as a culture?
I'm gonna say this. I think more so than a representation of what is gonna actually touch you personally. A lot of times when I'm watching TV and I'm watching these events, and especially award shows, you guys are mentioning things like the best person never wins. These award shows are an extension of promotional campaigns. That's what they've amounted to. And when you're saying, are you represented in particular? It depends, right? Like, and I'm just using you as a general sense. It depends on if you fit into the target demographic or the political, I don't want to use political, the messaging behind what they're trying to do.
And I don't.
And they try to, from what I can gather and what I've heard, they try to do, inclusiveness to include a lot of different pride things. They try to do inclusiveness to include some of the R&B and the hip hop, some of the legends. When you have, the people that were associated around Bad Boy and whatnot. So again, it depends on what their actual agenda is going into it, as far as what you are going to take out of it as being represented. So you can clearly see the groups and organizations that they wanted to represent. I think more so your issue may be, what they didn't, which is the rest of us.
Thank you for psychoanalyzing me. That's exactly what it was.
Can I just say this?
I'm very tired today, so I couldn't articulate that. But thank you for bringing my point, landing that plane for me, Theo.
No, you're fine. Go ahead and check the hustles.
I was just gonna say, or maybe I should ask, because I feel like this person stole the show. Did y'all see Brandy with Jack Harlow?
About to say.
Oh my God! Yesterday's price is not today's price.
Yes.
My girl killed it.
She did come out rapping. She did.
Yes, I love the
she
whole
had to,
energy.
I think she did that to try and help her brother out, but we won't speak on him.
Probably. Or, I think that she is just a phenomenal performer, and she's always trying to switch things up. And I think she needed to do something to remind people that she's still a force to be reckoned with. I thought it was cute that she came out with Jack Harlow.
I always loved her.
She apparently didn't know that her and Ray J was related or some junk like that. I don't know.
But I've always loved her, and it was good to see.
Here's my last question though, because I remember before the show came out, they were saying that Doja Cat had like the highest number of nominations.
Mhm.
I just want to know if anybody can answer for me. Is Doja Cat black? Because it's the BET Awards, and I'm trying to
No,
understand
no.
how
From
she
my
got the highest nominations.
Well,
yeah,
but
from
yeah.
my understanding, she's not. But I don't know.
Okay, wait, hold up. So question.
Mhm.
So that's the question because the gentleman that who's the little rapper that was rapping with her? What's his name?
With Doja Cat or with Brandy?
With Brandy.
Jack Harlow.
But he's not black,
He's
right?
absolutely not black.
Okay, I didn't think so. I was about to say.
No.
Okay, so I didn't know that you had to be black because I didn't think you had to be black to get an award for BET.
You don't. I just think that it's surprising that she had the most number of nominations. And
Oh,
she's
but
not
I
black.
guess it's because of the genres of music that she's, that they're putting her in.
I don't know
Okay.
nothing about this.
Let me back up for a second. According to
Okay.
Google, she is South African and Jewish American.
Okay, well, so she got some melanin in there.
You South African doesn't mean you're black. It just
No,
means
it
that you were
doesn't.
born
It really
in South
doesn't.
Africa.
It doesn't. I was trying to help you,
Yeah.
Doja. If you watching, you. I'm sorry. I was trying to.
I like the way they tried to throw that in there to confuse people. She's
Yeah,
South
but it's
African.
not.
Do we
You
know
can still be
how many non-black people there are running?
in South, especially in South Africa.
Well, she was born in California though.
Oh, she wasn't even born in South Africa. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, but that's just she was just pulling back in her roots. We're not gonna come for Doja. Doja, you keep doing your thing.
I
girl. We
did.
ain't coming for-
She's black enough. She's black enough. She's too black for the Kardashians.
Listen,
She can't hang with the Kardashians.
She's
Oh, they
mother
love them
of
some
pearl.
She's
mother of
Like
pearl. She's off-white. She's beige.
she can hang with us. She can sit with
I
us
mean,
and hang, but she'll be out of place.
I'm not saying
Miley
she didn't
Cyrus
deserve her
family, she won't be right
nomination.
amongst them.
I feel like if we're celebrating us and this is supposed to be a place where we celebrate us, then that's who we need to be celebrating.
But that was my point, I think, is that I really don't understand, and maybe it's because they have sold, the show, is that I really don't believe anymore that the award show is really for the purpose that they're stating. That's just how I feel.
And again, it's not. All award shows have literally evolved to promotional campaigns. And when I say that, let me stop thinking you guys are just going to read between the lines, right? Excuse me. The adage in any industry, whether we're talking Hollywood, whether we're talking musically, right? It's not always the best talent that rises to the top. Often it's the one with the biggest bag. It's the one that gets out in front of all the radio stations. It's the one that gets in front of the important shows to be able to reach those demographics that get it there. And there's a lot of greasing that goes along the way. So in my opinion, and again, they're not just going to admit it full out, but there's been way too many times, not just with the BET Awards, with the Billboard Awards, with the MTV Awards, with a lot of these different Grammys, Oscars included, you see that the best person, the consensus that everybody that you walk out your house and talk to says is not the person that wins it. And if it's not the general perception of the public, then obviously it's going to be highly debated anyway. So they tend to go with the bag. Real quick, man, Quaterius Turner said, were the college donations genuine? I don't know. I hope so.
I hope so, because P. Diddy said that he was going to donate $1 million to Howard, which that would be dope,
I think it's genuine. He's always been a part of that culture, that college culture, helping people out and doing for charity.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been legit in that area. So
he has. He's gone hard for HBCUs. You're right.
He did shout out them, and I really did like that. So all BET was not all bad. Like I said, I think it was entertaining. There were a lot more women who had clothes on, which I thought was nice.
Thank you, Lizzo. Being dressed this time.
Not just for her. It's just I just think that they tried to class it up a bit. I was a little surprised. I was happy. I'm all about class. So
last year,
Lizzo ain't all that crazy. She know not to do that mess at the BET Awards. Lizzo is not stupid. She knows there's a method to her madness. She knows exactly what she's doing. What I've gathered from Lizzo, she's a very intelligent woman. So when I see her doing these things, I think she's a master of publicity stunts. All bad, like they say, bad publicity. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Lizzo is very confident in herself to take it there. and she took it there at the right places. She's not going to do that at the BET Awards because she knew that would have only brought a negative backlash.
Yeah, I love her body positivity and her message. I really do. And I thought that her performance was great. She opened up the show and she kicked it off. And like I said,
I forgot to say she was good. She was good.
She was great.
Lizzo was good.
So
Lizzo was good.
Things. But can I ask anyone how Auntie Mariah's doing? Because lately when I see her perform, she needs help on the stage, and I don't know what's going on, but she couldn't walk.
Okay, well, wow, I know what you're talking about. But she sounded good. But she sounded good, but I know what you mean. Like, she needed somebody to walk her. Like, they had to walk her. But if you really look at it, and she pointed out, I thought I was going crazy. It seemed like she was being helped across the stage, if that makes sense.
Auntie has not been the same.
That's been happening for a long time.
Yeah,
too.
in a while.
I thought it was just her heels.
Like, she was struggling to stand and walk. Like, you had to see it in her face. The voice was there, but her movement said, like, it's probably going to get worse as time goes on, and that's where they're going to pinpoint it. People going to mention that. When you see it, and now that we brought it up, you're going to spot it easier because it's hard to explain, but if you see it, you'll know exactly. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm praying for you, Auntie. You know what's going on, but just put on some quads and some Crocs, girl. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, we gonna wish the best for Mariah. But listen, man, we're getting late now. We're gonna go ahead and shut this down, man. Definitely some very great conversations, some spirited back and forth on the opinions, man. So I love it. I love it. Each and every week, that's what we come here to do. So appreciate you guys for doing that. But I do have one more requirement out of you guys, and I'm gonna start with you first, Matt, because we're gonna go in backwards order. Just want to go around the horn and, man, y'all give me y'all closing thoughts on the podcast today. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh man, I think everything was very insightful, right? When you start breaking down statistics and you start getting some insight and perspective of other people's views, man, you got to take that to heart, man. Whether you agree with them or not, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to agree to disagree, but any knowledge is good knowledge. So I enjoyed it.
That is. We enjoyed you, man. Chick that hustles. Give us that last round.
I just want to say this was very interesting, especially it's always, for me, it's comforting to know that I'm not the only person who recognizes that folks can't sing. I would just like to say, Sin, you mentioned Keith Sweat earlier. He can't sing. He was probably one of the first. But also, if you really want to know, if you want to be able to tell if these singers who are out today can sing, that NPR Tiny Desk exposes people. So check that out. I'm not trying to plug them or anything like that, but I've been able to really discover who some whack artists are that I thought were really good singers. You see them on there, and but yeah, good talk.
Yeah. Hey, Tiny Desk is a joint, man. Hopefully they'll shout us out one day, and I don't mind shouting them out.
They sure will.
But Sid, go ahead and give us the closing thoughts, brother.
I'm just glad we got to break some stuff down, do some dialogue and everything. And I don't want to sound like I'm a hater of nobody. It's just that I'm an 80s baby. I grew up on dope stuff. And if something's not good, we spoke upon it. And anybody who wants to be in entertainment, you open yourself up to that criticism. And if you go to the Apollo, there's a big sign out there that says, be good or go home. And that's how I feel should be on anybody who's on a major platform, especially on a BET or on a Versus. You got to come with your A game. If them are major platforms, you have to come with your A game. If you don't, you deserve to get fried. So next time you don't, you got to be held accountable. But that's my thoughts on everything.
That is. And we respect your thoughts, brother. We respect you. Always passionate about it. That's what I love. Shade Queen, close them out.
First of all, thank you guys for watching, for my friends, family, and everyone. I just want to say that, again, to piggyback off of what we talked about, which we started the show pretty heavy. If you have in any way been victimized or anything like that, we certainly are praying for all the victims. And I don't wish anything bad on anyone. I wish the best to R. Kelly and hope that he does get the help and that he does get some justice in the rest of his cases. But it brings me to say that we need to be careful of the people who are around us, who are around our children, not allowing our children to be around predators. And also, if we see something that's not right, to speak up about it. And I also just say, leaving off my feelings about the BET Awards, just goes to show that we as parents and as people in our community, BET does not speak for us as a people. And if we want to show our children positive role models, then we have to be that. So continue to mentor and continue to tune into places like this where we're talking about things that not only hot topics, but also trying to uplift our community. That's it. Thank you.
There it is. There it is. Queen CC, give him your closing lap.
This definitely was a good topics. We had some good topics tonight. I can't wait to see what next week's gonna bring. But I enjoyed this.
Good stuff. Good stuff, man. So listen, man, what did we learn? What did we learn today? Because at the end of the day, we talking, man. We're talking about the stuff that you guys are talking about, right? We're having a good time with it. Some of the subject matter is a little more serious than others, but what I try to always do is I try to step back from the situation and I ask myself, like, what do we learn, man? We learned from the BET Awards that culture has many different representations, and sometimes that actually doesn't mean they're going to involve you. We can sit here and get mad because our name is on it as Black people, but let's be honest, we're such a diverse and wide ranging people. Can you really represent all of us in one show? I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see them branch out some more and not just kind of go where I suspect the paycheck is coming from to direct them and represent a little more of our culture. But I certainly appreciate them for at least trying to show more of our culture in general. What did we learn from the verses? We learned that all singers are not built the same, right? We learned that some people can sing. Shout out to Mario. Shout out to Sammy. But we also learned that the other side of the music business is about entertainers. And at the end of the day, whether it was the drama, whether it was the arguing, whether it was those actual things that seemed to be popular and selling on TV, or whether it was the dancing that came out of it, whether it was the stunts that came out of it, it was all just entertainment. So at the end of the day, those entertainers came out there to do what they came to do, and they played to their strengths. So can't really get mad at that. And then what did we learn from R. Kelly? Man, we really learned that hurt people hurt people. I don't want to speak too much onto it. Again, respect to all the victims, respect to every side from this. I'm not trying to side with R. Kelly, so don't run his tape back and think that I did at all. But I really do think that our criminal justice system is not set up for a Black man to even get a fair shot to begin with. So I have to wonder automatically how much of that really factored into what happened with R. Kelly. But outside of that, man, check in with us next week. We'll be back again, man. We do this every Thursday on the Roundtable Talk podcast at 8 p.m. Catch us on Sunday where we're going to bring another dope artist up for the Music Roundtable Live panel. Where we're going to really sit down and do a deep dive into with that artist and their works. And then catch us, if you didn't catch us yesterday, catch the recast again on YouTube, Where It Begins, or our Model Booth Games, or just, link up with us next Wednesday at 8 p.m. where we have another hilarious edition of the Roundtable Music Trivia Show, where it's a trivia show different, where we put our own special brand on to have fun, have laughs, just show a lot of love to music, man. But this is your boy Theo, our Model Booth, man. Appreciate y'all, and everybody be safe. Peace.